All right, good afternoon, everybody, and good evening to our viewers in Monrovia, Liberia. We say welcome to another edition of Liberia Shall Rise. I'm your host or co-host for this segment, Mr. Augustine Sharif, and I'm here with the host of the show, Dr. Emmanuel George. Mr. George, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing very fine. Thank you, Mr. Sheriff. I'm trying to grow beard. So for those of you who see me looking rough out there, trying to get some hair on my face, getting ready for the next edition of the weather. So,
Yes, I hear you. No, you're doing great. It's looking great so far. It's coming together really, really good. But today, I know we have 1 hour on the broadcast today. We have a special guest in studio. And to our viewers in Monrovia, we want to say you are joining us on Freedom FM 87.9, I believe. And if you also joining us online on Facebook, on YouTube, and welcome to the broadcast, share the broadcast and be part of the show. Dr. George, this is the segment on Liberia Shall Rise we call This Could Be You. What does
yeah.
this mean to our viewers in Monrovia, Liberia? Introduce the segment.
This could be an opportunity for us to have conversation with Liberians who are doing extremely well in the various fields in the career. Here in the diaspora, sometimes we have people from Liberia coming on board. It's an inspirational mentorship piece of programming here in Liberia to Rise. So it gives Liberian opportunities to know that yes, there are Liberians that are actually doing very great in the diaspora in Liberia. The stories that they have are inspirational, interesting stories, and hopefully those stories will be able to propel someone in Monrovia, someone here in the U.S. who have been struggling with listening to these men and women as they share their stories to make a decision as to how to move forward to what are struggles or challenges they have.
All right, Mr. George, well, I'm glad that you call it a mentorship kind of program because that's exactly what it is, in my opinion. We bring professional Liberians here, and we do not just pick professionals in the diaspora. We pick professionals from Europe. We have had Liberians joining us from as far as New Zealand, and we have had Liberians joining us from Monrovia, Liberia, who come here and just share their experiences, their craft, what they do, life, and how they got there. I mean,
Yeah.
was it always this easy for them, or did they have some shoulders to stand upon? And I think the entire idea behind this segment is to encourage Liberians do not stop the potential, keep growing, keep moving forward. As you hear these stories, hopefully will inspire you to do better. So I will bring our guest on, Dr. George, but before I do that, I'd like for you to introduce our guest, and I'm going to be in the back producing for you and let the interview flow.
And before we introduce him, Mr. Sherry, let me just see if Chris, are you on? Can you hear us? That is if
Yes,
Chris
yes.
we introduce
I'm getting.
himself. Okay, that's Chris, our producer in the Freedom FM 87.9 studio in Monrovia. Freedom FM is having a promotion right now that the one Liberians don't know about. Chris, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, yeah. Or while the program you can keep dialing star 79 hash or scroll to number 11 and then select that's Freedom FM and then you go to number 2 or number 1 US dollar or LD and play a cash giveaway. Mr. Name will be at the back doing the draw. So keep playing wherever you are. Keep playing. Don't stop. Star 79 hash to number 11 for Freedom FM and keep playing. You could be that lucky winner. So that's it, Mr. George.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, friends on Facebook, YouTube, Freedom FM 89.7 in Monrovia, Liberia. My name is Emmanuel George, your host, and I'm joined on this program by Mr. Augustine Sharif, who is the co-host of this segment on the Liberian Shiraz platform that we call This Could Be You. The program that brings a new spin to the Liberian discourse. On this platform, we firmly believe that Liberia has all the potential to be a great nation if all of us do our part. This is the reason why we do not spend countless hours discussing the what ifs or the what is wrong, but what is and what can be. Therefore, tonight we continue the series This Could Be You. We are aware of the gloomy realities of our nation. We are fully aware of the 41 members of the legislature who gathered Monrovia, Liberia, trying to remove the current speaker, Mr. Fonati Kova. We are aware of the continuous situation where our young brothers and sisters are finding it difficult to find fees to go back to school. We are fully aware that schools are delaying opening section because most of the students have not registered. Yes, we have followed all the debates of the international trip of His Excellency Mr. Joseph Boyka, the President of the Republic of Liberia. We are often confronted with hundreds of Facebook Live videos that seem to serve the sole purpose of berating one of our own to the point of stupor. In most of our community, there appear to be an absent role models. Have you ever thought about a Liberia that is living up to its fullest potential? A Liberia that is a beacon of hope for the peoples of West Africa. Despite the unfolding gloomy news, there are hundreds of Liberians who are beating the odds. Theirs is a story of success that we believe is necessary to share on this platform. From local government to the classroom, people of Liberian origins are making meaningful impact in the world. They are highly influential in their areas of specialty. We are certain that as our guests share their stories, you will be as motivated as we are on this platform. It is certain that we too can somewhat the strength to rise above our current situation despite the odds that seem to be against us. Again, these Liberians that should be our guests in this series, This Could Be You Too, could be the beacon of hope that shall lead you to the realization that Liberia shall indeed rise again. So this evening, my guest is Mr. Toyiwa Harris. Mr. Toyiwa Harris is a Microsoft specialist. He works here in the United States of America, and we're going to have a wonderful, wonderful conversation. So ladies and gentlemen, join me as I bring my guest on this evening, Mr. Toyiwa Harris. Good evening, Mr. Harris. How are you today? It seems like you are muted, sir.
Good evening, Mr. George. Thanks for the show. Thanks for having me here. Freedom FM is not a strange place for me. I have been on multiple shows on Freedom FM, but for me, this is important because in your intro, you mentioned mentorship, and I think that's more important than any show I've been on. Thank you.
Thank you. You're definitely welcome. So let's start this ball rolling. People may have heard your name. I know there was a time that we used to interact on Liberia on Radio ARB. They may have heard his name, but they don't know the person behind his name. So I'm going to start from that. Who is Mr. Toyiwa Harris?
Who is Mr. Toyiwa Harris? Well, Toyiwa Harris is a Monrovia boy. Born and raised in Monrovia, left Monrovia, never lived out of Monrovia more than a month in my entire life until I came to the U.S. My playground was Waterside Breach to City Hall. So Central Monrovia was my playground. We were kids growing up in Mama Point, and we didn't have cars, so we walked. And walking and growing up in the melting pot of Liberia, especially during the time of the Enlightenment period, I always call it, when we started reading more and seeing African freedom fighters come into being. And that formed some of my political ideology. But where I am now was formed by a different path. And that path we'll discuss through this show.
Okay, so running through water sides up Capitol Hill, which you were running through at that time. Where did you start your education journey? Which high school you went to? Which elementary school you went to in Liberia?
So I went to the Methodist Elementary School, which is known as J.J. Roberts right now. Okay, and moved on to B.W. Harris, where I graduated in 1981. At that time, I was the captain of the basketball team, and I was playing for the national basketball team my senior year in high school. So I represented the country, and my club team, which was great ball players at the time, won the championship. So I was known as a basketball player. T-Funk was my name. So Toya Harris.
You want to call it again?
You see, I like you, man. You got the real. You say who is Toya Harris, right?
Yeah.
So Toya Harris is different from T-Funk.
Okay.
That's two different people. So a lot of people publicly know T-Funk. T-Funk, the flamboyant, sociable person. Toya Harris is what you're going to find out today.
Okay, a lot of people growing up in Liberia. I just got to come back that T-Funk.
Okay. Let's go there.
A lot of people growing up in Liberia may not understand at this time. At this time, those who are listening to us on 89.7 Freedom FM and YouTube and Facebook may not understand how Liberia used to be at that time, because we have a totally different country right now. So can you tell us how life was with you on the basketball team, traveling with the national basketball team, interacting between JJ Roberts and going to BW Harris? What was it like?
So I can give you a day in my life growing up in Liberia, and a lot of people never had that kind of life. I was blessed to have it. Sunday morning, I went to Geography on Newport Street. We played basketball on the court. We went in the classroom to play Coco and Missy with the real Brunei boys. By 2 o'clock that evening, I was in Bento jumping in Stephen Tarbell pool at a party for his granddaughter. So the full realm of the Liberian community was my playground.
Okay.
I had the opportunity to meet every type of Liberian and interact and be friend, have long-lasting relationship with.
But
consider myself a Monrovia boy, a true Liberian with no ethnic ties to nothing.
Okay. Sorry for interjecting. Someone listening to you may not know what is Coco and Missy. So can you
because okay, so the real Cuban who listening to in a Freedom FM man are talking to that guy who is gone. He know what I say I rolling Tongbo. I was rolling the Tongbo. You know what I'm talking about. And we'll leave it like that. But Coco and Missy, it was the way we gamble, and but back then we had coins. Okay. I bet kids now have never seen coins. Coins is not part of our currency right now, right? So we had coins, and the coins was head and tails, and the head part of the coin was Coco, and Missy, and the other part of the coin was Coco and Missy. So Coco, I don't know which one now. It's been a while. But so it was gambling, and the people that were doing that, every type of Liberian was doing that, but the people that was at junior high fence were kids that wanted to gamble, and we gambled with each other. But we're not bad kids. We were all kids going to school. We were all kids that had home responsibilities and chores. And we were all kids that knew you had to come home with your report card every 6 weeks marking period, and you'll be questioned on that, and that will allow you other privileges. So the privilege we had to go was dependent on the report card you brought home. If you didn't bring it home, you will not be over there play Coco and BC. You'll be to the yeah, you gotta work for it. Yeah,
it's interesting you brought that up, because right now there's somebody listening in Monrovia that's wondering, oh, what is he talking about, Coco and Missy? And yes, we remember those times. And I think something that our viewers must catch from there before I move forward, Mr. Harris, is the fact that despite going to JJ Roberts, which in the 1970s, 1980s was a highly influential schools, the school of the elite, and going to BW Harris also, you also had time to interact with the different populations. You did not only keep yourself isolated, but your parents and you were willing to be part of that, going to Newport Street, playing basketball, going in the sand with the other people playing the Coco and Missy. And after you got through with BW Harris, what next?
So I wanted to be an architect. Well, the evolution to me now, my mother was working at telecom. I wanted to work the telecom, and that's all I knew. I didn't know what to do there, nothing. Oh, my mom working there, I want to work there. So then I started formulating technical thoughts growing up. And then I met Nat Baker, who was an architect. He had just returned home from the States. Back then, our professionals were going back home. When they came here, they got a degree, they got maybe 5 to 10 years of experience. They went back home, we set up a firm. I wanted to be an architect. So those kind of formulations were in my mindset. There were no schools in Liberia to prepare me for any of those. During my senior year, there was at that time I was a reader, so I was a member of the U.S. For people who don't know, the USIS library in Liberia was on Ashman. I forgot Ashman and Carey Street, but it was where you could go and borrow books. You could go sit down there and watch. It was very educational. So I used to go there to read, and I saw about computers. So I came back home. I told my papa because my mom was in the States and I wanted to come to the States, and my father wanted me to go to college in Liberia. So everything I wanted to do did not exist in Liberia. Just treat me. So I took it to another level. I said, I want to do computers. He said, yeah, but then we got to send you to your mom. So my mom got me I-20 form to come to America in 1982 to a computer technical school where I got my first education in computers as a computer operator in 1982, doing COBOL, RPG, Fortran. We talk about heavy machine learning. It doesn't exist today. I mean, so the computer operator was trained to use the punch cards. And you'll put the punch cards in the machine, it will read it. It was in hexadecimal. It was, it's light years away. But that was when I got into computers, and I've been doing that ever since in my life.
That's amazing.
Any other job besides that?
Wow, that's amazing. So let me piggyback and then come back to your movement to the US. As someone listening we may want to understand playing basketball in Liberia at time, playing on the national team. We have a lot of challenge with our national team playing other places. How was the support like for the Liberian basketball team when you were playing at the national level and even at the local level with your high school?
Well, great ball players won the championship. The reason great ball players won the championship was because we all was playing for Mighty Barrow. Mighty Barrow had just won the LBF championship. We went to the Barrow headquarters at that time was Shamamba, and we brought the trophy. They bought us 3 bottles of beer and they didn't even give us money to pay our bill. But at the same time, there was a soccer player there leaving to come to America, and they raised $10,000 and gave it to him as his money to come to America. We left from there feeling that we needed more incentive to play, and that's what the late great Reginald Reeves will all started that movement, the incentive to play. We're not going to play for free no more. So one guy who was a diamond dealer found a creek, and he got some big money, and he decided he wanted to be a sponsor. We all left from Barrow. We formed a team, great ball players. We won the championship the senior year we formed our team. And the reason I bring this story up because the support that we got from Krumah to win the championship in the first year of formation, I never saw it in sports in Liberia. But at that time, we were changing the trajectory. So now players started getting money to play. Not much money, but something. Before they got nothing. So the support for sports, first of all, soccer and football has always been the top. And basketball has always gotten to trickle down. It's never changed. We always called the Ministry of Youth and Sports the Ministry of Football. Back then, we did. And I'm a great football fan. I mean, I've been on national team bench when we play Morocco. You know, I've been with the national team of Liberia. on both basketball and football. You know, like I said, I've always been a grassroots. I've always considered myself somebody who could traverse any part of Liberia, any type of Liberian. And so that's why I am a regular on Freedom FM, because this is the place where we need to be.
Okay. Now that you have come to the U.S., went to school to study computer science programming, what was your experience like? Your first work, the first job you got. What were your experience in the workplace? Was it
well, my first experience was an operator, so it was grunt work. It was somebody that worked overnight. So when the people did order reports in the night, during the day, you had to run all the jobs to create reports. It was overnight. It was weekends. I wasn't cut off for that type of work. I was a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday person. So I moved from job to job to job because I would call out and call out and call out. I was young, I was making more money than the average person at the time. And there were not too many people that had the certification and the experience and not the experience, but the training that I had. So I would call out, go to work. And then, I decided I can't do this thing. So I had to retrain myself. Okay. And I thought retraining myself was going to go to a regular college, university. And I enrolled in the University of Maryland. I spent a semester or 2 there. The technology was moving, and then Bill Gates had decided to build build Microsoft. Steve Jobs was on the other side doing Apple. We were moving technology from token ring to Ethernet. It was blazing speed at that time. So people like me on the front line had to pivot. And at that pivot point, I choose the technology path that I'm on today. I picked Microsoft. And I've been with Microsoft since then.
Okay, we're going to take a musical break and we'll come back. We're going to continue our conversation. If you are just joining us on Freedom FM 87.9 and on YouTube or Facebook, this is Liberia Shall Rise. This could be you. I'm your host, Emmanuel George. And our guest this evening is Mr. Toyiwa Harris. We're going to take a short break and we're going to be back after that break.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Love is all we need to make you see. This is the time to come together. Keep Liberia safe forever. So open up your heart and let the unity begin. Love is all we need to make it stand. Let's cultivate one another. Learn to live together as brothers and sisters. Without togetherness, we won't have no peace of mind. Unify and have a peaceful, sweet Liberia. Land of liberty is our home. Keep it standing. This is the one and only home that we have. Sweet Liberia. This land of liberty is our home. Let us keep it standing. It's the one and only home that.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Liberia Shall Rise, and this could be you. We are broadcasting on Freedom FM 87.9. Today, our guest is Mr. Toyiwa Harris, a computer engineer here in the United States of America on the Microsoft teams. We're having this conversation, and Mr. Harris is known and popular in the Liberian community. I'll tell you what, if we want to move this conversation now, there's something important you said, and it's important that we share, and if you emphasize that with our listeners in Liberia and on YouTube and Facebook, that there was a point in time in your career where the business of the internet, the business of computing was moving, and there was Apple on one side, Microsoft on one side, and you had to realign or change career. Can you emphasize on that? Because sometimes we are in career area, we feel that that we should just be stuck in where we are. So in your field of computer engineering or other stuff that you do, how important is that for people to understand that at a particular time you always have to make yourself relevant, if I may use that word?
we got an old thing about IT. An old IT person will tell you, you stop learning, you stop earning. You stop learning, you stop earning. So think about it and look at it. You stop learning, so you got to keep learning. Learning is a continuous process. Learning never ends. You never know more than the next person. And believe me, what you learn today might not be obsolete tomorrow. So in my career, I've learned something because I'm in corporate America, which is specific and based on the laws that came out after September 11 concerning IT governance. People are only getting specialists. They're looking for experts. They're not looking for jack of all trades. They're looking for experts. You got to pick something that you'll be the expert. Experts get paid. I consider myself an expert. I'm an expert unified communication engineer / architect. So, but if you want my expertise, you'll be looking for somebody specific to that, which is based on the foundation of the overall ecosystem. So I've got experience in the overall ecosystem. I specialize in one.
Okay, can you clarify? Because I don't know nothing about computers, so I won't pretend.
Okay, so the ecosystem I live in, the ecosystem I live in is Office 365 unified communication. Unified communication means you unifying communication, chat, voice, video, and email. So it's unified communication. That's how corporate America moves. That's how work gets done. Microsoft uses voice technology, which provides PSTN, which is I could call you from my cell phone and you can pick it up on your computer. That is what I'm specialized in deploying globally. So I have to make if you have Microsoft Teams and you want to be able to make and receive calls from any destination, you need my services. I deal with regulations, regulatory bodies. Like I was seeing the regulatory body in Liberia, which I see a lot of challenges there. LTA. I deal with LTA version globally. My toughest challenge for regulatory is India. They're the worst. They're the worst. India the worst. Yeah. India is hard. They're the worst. You got to step out of the box.
Okay.
They think. So if you're starting in IT, first thing is you want to get the baseline. So you pick what you want. If you want to be a Microsoft, if you want to do Azure, if you want to do Cisco, you got to pick your track and specialize in your track. You see, I met some young engineers and of course bright kids from Liberia. I mentor a couple of them. They're here now throughout this whole journey. One thing I didn't tell you, the first live broadcast online of a event in Liberia was done by a group of technologists between me, yeah, two guys in Liberia, and were running a website called LiberianSoccer.com at the time. And we broadcast a Liberian soccer match. It was a radio broadcast, but we did it. But people said it could not be done. And we did it because of the technologists that were in Liberia. There were two guys. Damn, it's been so long. But they're my young boys. But what they did is they were using cash. So they were using cash technology, which we in the States didn't understand because we have bandwidth.
Mm-hmm.
They were using satellite. So that technology was different from ours. So people think a technologist from here will walk in a place in Liberia and be able to work. No, a technologist in Liberia, he's a network guy. He's a software guy. He's a printer guy. He fixes the computers. Me, I never see a computer to fix. My computer I call help desk. Somebody else will fix it. I don't even have rights to do it, you know. But so mentorship is what your show is, right, George?
Yeah, I mean that's a very important point you make, because there have been this friction between Liberians coming from the diaspora going back to Liberia and Liberian back home. And I think it's an important point you have definitely nailed on the head, and it's something I really would like for us to emphasize on, Mr. Harris, because there are patterns of things that are totally different. And sometimes we believe that when we leave from the US and go to Liberia, we are able to solve the challenges there because of the technical or whatsoever know-how. But now you are putting ice on that by saying, no, there are two different technologies here. You have to understand that those guys in Liberia work with more things than we work with. If you can emphasize on that a bit for our listeners, I think it's important, especially those of us who live here in the diaspora, to understand that mindset because when we go home, we think we have all the knowledge to change the country, and that the people back home knows nothing.
Some example how an engineer in Liberia will prepare for redundancy with power. Mm. Yeah, I'm not even considering power. If I got power, I'll put a UPS there. A engineer in Liberia will get batteries and connect those batteries and form. So the generator will be providing power to the battery. The battery will be powering the computer, the servers or whatever computer system. That ensures clean current, so he does not get a surge. We don't think about that yet. I never even knew about that concept till I spoke to the engineers in Liberia. So it's completely different. So it's a collaboration that needs to happen. This collaboration the engineer from here is an expert. When I say expert, I'm talking about expert in his particular technology.
Yeah.
The engineer in Liberia is a jack of all trades, and he know the lay of the land. And he know the lay of the land. And don't sell him short. He's smart too.
Yeah.
But that's his environment. That's what he's got to deal with. So now the collaboration, you bring your expertise and mentor that guy and learn from him. Don't think like you can't learn from him. Like I told you, I learned a lot of stuff from people that I was senior to. Learn from him, right? And it's got to be a give and take. And that's what mentorship is. And that's why when you send the invitation and you told me what the show was about and you send me some prior ones, this is not nothing about politics, which is the day in Liberia. And you brought that in, and we will end with it because I have an opinion, please. So that's Toyua Harris. That's not T-Punk. So you know.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. I really have an opinion. But now let's now that we have reached this level of your career here in the US, take our listeners through how a workday looks like for you. How many people you supervise? What's your budget like in the unit that you work with and you head?
Okay, so I work for Zimmer Biomet. Is a biotech company. We make hip and knees. I think we're the second largest hip and knee replacement provider globally. So when we say global, we're talking about almost in every major country in the world, on every continent. So we have a methodology we call follow the sun. And the follow the sun, so when daybreak is here, we got people working here at that time. When daybreak here, we got people working here at that time. So that methodology is the team that I supervise that handles the unified communication, especially the voice related, the phone. I'm the Teams guy. Teams telephone. I provide what a lot of interaction with the business. So right now we deploying globally emergency calling system, and I'm driving that. I have 4 engineers globally, and they're responsible for their sites, and they have engineers that work for them under them. The lead, I work with the lead. The lead has people working under them. That's how it is broken down. Language is a challenge. Time zone is a challenge. You're working with China, for instance. Right now, my email just pinged. My man in China pinged me. It's Monday in China right now. They up and running. So those kind of challenges. And one thing is, my name is Toyua Harris. My first name is a bastard name. Mm-hmm. I do not have a nickname professionally. So when I wake up in the morning and I get on a meeting, I'm the only black man on that meeting, they will be calling me Toyua. They'll say, good morning, Toyua. They will be speaking Basa. It makes my day when I hear them speaking Basa.
You see, that's amazing. That's amazing because over the years, and I mean, the war was not a good thing, but I think we're seeing every bad thing had a good side to it. Over the years, we as Liberians found it difficult to embed, to appreciate our native name, and I'm excited that you brought that up, because you get excited. People have to learn your name. They have to call, and each time they speak, you hear in Basa, Basa language.
That's how I was raised. My father raised me to be a Basa man. His father was a Congo man. Mine was a Basa woman. Madi, I feel more connected to Madi. I think I'm more Madi than Joseph Jeremiah, who's my father's father. I'm Madi. Madi is my DNA. Yeah. Okay. That's why they give him the name. That's why naming your children is important.
Yeah. Yes, I totally agree with that one. Because you see my name on the screen is Emmanuel George. That two name. Emmanuel is Hebrew and
Two
George
first names. Two first names.
Two first names.
Yeah, two first names. Choose your pick.
So you manage this level, and it's important for us to know, because sometimes many people in Liberia, they don't know the level of which some of those of you who have excelled in your fields are actually representing Liberia. And I love the way you put it, putting the country on the map 2 ways. One, every morning when you have your meeting and they call your name, you have taught a lot of people around the world in your team meeting how to speak Basa, Toyua. Whether they like your Basa. And besides that, you are a Liberian standing there representing that. I have a few minutes with you before I go to Freedom FM for calls. So let me pivot to the area another area you work with. You used to be on Radio LRB, and definitely you have some opinion on how things work in Liberia. As an engineer, as a team's engineer, with the global insight you have, how are you translating your expertise to supporting development in Liberia?
Well, I will be. This is going to be breaking news. But we were the people. I'm a CDC, first of all, and we were the people that put the ICT policy together for the CDC. My vision, our idea, our direction. did not happen because the people that put the ICT to policy together were not part of the government that we helped elect. So my pivot from that has been mentorship. And individuals, organizations in the CDC. I formally aligned myself with the cadres of mine, a group of young, smart kids, trying to provide direction that way. But the trajectory of technology in Liberia is pitiful that we tribalize technology. When we put one people from one group to be at the regulatory body. When the whole regulatory body is Mandingo people. And with none of them have the experience that quality in the diaspora has. They talking about cybersecurity. That's the big push. Cybersecurity, we don't really need to focus on cybersecurity. We need to focus on document security. As grandly as that. Government documents are always posted on internet and everybody can see it.
Yeah.
There's no document. We're not even focused on the real thing. My idea, one of the things that we had in our ICT roadmap was to digitize the entire government under one umbrella, which is an office already set up in the Ministry of Post and Telecommunications. The office of the deputy for data services. Every government ministry data services should be under that umbrella. We don't have a centralized IT. Centralize the IT where we have standards that everybody has one type of laptop. So we buy it in bulk, it's cheaper for us. We have the RMA, that means return to manufacturer. We got the same warranty, We get a Liberian guy and said, look, my man, be the whole seller, because most of the resellers for these products are in Ghana. So if you want to buy these products wholesale, we don't have resellers in Liberia. We don't empower our people. You got to have it. Those kind of things. The challenges of an IT person in Liberia is power.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Harris. It's great to have you on. We bring in our sister station in Monrovia. Mr. Chris is going to join us now. But there's a question from one of our viewers, River says, Pro, he didn't hear you when you were talking about your expertise. So he's asking, what is your expertise right now?
Okay, River says, Pro, I'm a unified communications engineer. I run a global team. Maybe 20 people deep, but I got 4 direct reports that report to me directly. I handle one product for a global organization with 50,000 employees globally. Zimmer Biomed is the name of the company. You can check it out. We one of the top 3 in medical device technology, where we are the leaders in hip and knee replacements. I'm not a person. I'm an IT dude. They call me the Teams guy because I specialize in Microsoft Teams. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Let me bring Chris in. Chris, if you have phone calls, we'll take them in now.
All right, folks. The number is 086 500 0776 1414. But while you do that, those of you who playing the cash giveaway, don't forget to dial *79# and scroll down to number 11 and select Freedom FM and play. Keep playing. Mr. Nimle is at the back doing the draw, and then he will call you when you win. All right. So the number is 086 500 0776 1414. You can call to give your input right here. Okay, let's just call. Good evening. Please walk away from the radio, please.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah.
My name is Onye Zawi. I appreciate Mr. Harry for coming on and sharing his expertise with us, and also giving details on our local IT infrastructure and the difference between the text from the diaspora versus the text here. And one of the things he actually focused on was the fact that it is important to know that the expertise here is different and there's a wealth of knowledge here. I actually happen to be a unified communication architect. Started since 2007. And I came back here, so I'm currently in Liberia. And even the main focus is cyber portion of it. I think there was a little, he criticized the fact that why are they focusing on cyber right now when we need to be focusing on things like data loss prevention and things. I had the same question, but then I got to understood where the focus here was. My perception changed a little bit. And I know your viewers or your listeners out there, and some of them want to know why like we're focusing on cyber when we don't even have infrastructure built to support other IT other IT systems, or we need more than just cyber now before we can go to cyber. Cyber should be a later on after we have already built the infrastructure. But the importance of the focus they had here was that they wanted individuals to know that there are cyber crimes, that there are easy way you can be tricked with your details. Just your regular cell phone, somebody can call you today and basically act like they're your grandpa and get $50 from you. And we had a situation here in Liberia where a whole lot of people lost money right before the election. So the focus of this program was to let our people know that cybercrime is real. It happens in so many different factions, and you could be duped by somebody on the internet.
Okay.
They'll come to your Facebook, to your WhatsApp. So, and that's why I love the initial discussion where he started with the focus is different when you're in the diaspora, and it's different when you're down in Liberia and looking at a whole different reality. So sometimes
Can I interact? Can I interact with the caller?
Let's try to at least see what exactly the goal is.
All right, sir. All right, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
For those of you in the diaspora, okay. For those of you in the diaspora, if you want to call from the diaspora, the number is +231 86 500 104. You can call on WhatsApp. No, get in the WhatsApp line. If you are in the radio lane, you can call 86 500 104 776 104 104. All right, Mr. George, we don't have a call now, so maybe.
Yeah, I told you I wanted to say something.
No, I wanted to interact with the caller. The caller raised a good point, and thanks for him bringing that information to me and to the listeners. So the focus on cybersecurity was more informational and educational, so people can be aware of the cyber threats. That's understandable, and that's a good thing. But we have data challenges, data security challenges. We need to address that. I think we looking at cyber because it's a buzzword, and people can get some money for some vendor to have a program. Nothing comes out of that. It provides some information. Some people will hear about it. But the issue that we need, especially in the public sector, is document protection and document integrity. That we don't have.
Okay, Mr. Harris, there's one of our listeners. Okay, we have another call online. I think that would be our.
All right,
go ahead.
who even?
Yeah, Mr. Harris wanted a two-way conversation. I couldn't do that. I'm not able to listen to them when he's speaking, so I had to call back.
What's the name? Was he the one that called first?
Yeah.
You want to say something again?
He said he wanted to have a little chat on. That's why I came back on. But unfortunately, I'm not able to hear him because I'm driving, so I don't know how this works. I probably just mute myself and I can respond here.
Yeah, thank you. We'll take that conversation offline since you can hear us, and we can.
Yeah.
Just wanted to share with you what his concept was with that.
But tell him he can do two things, right? So that I'm a techie, I'm a solution guy, right? He can put the radio on Freedom, put his phone on mute. He will hear me speak. Turn the radio down, unmute his phone, and he can talk. I'm a solutions guy. That's what we do for a living. Communication solutions.
That's exactly why I had to.
Okay, good. Thank you. We have a few more minutes to leave. So, Mr. Harris, we have this question too again from another question about. You say we do not need cybersecurity in Liberia in this era of hacking and data breaches. Why not prioritize cybersecurity?
Because we don't protect the data. So what we worry about the cyber. The data presently is not protected. The baseline for data protection is the source data, right? Everybody know that, right? Where the data is stored, that way you protect, right? The access to the data is cybersecurity. We don't have the data secured already. So, for instance, we don't have a document security system where if somebody looks at this document, there is a digital footprint of who looked at it and what time they looked at it. So everybody that saw that document will be able to be identified. Also, they have another system that the documents that you check the document in, you check it out. They have all kinds of systems, right? Those systems are protected on the cyber level, but you don't have the systems. So why are you going to start cybersecurity when you have to have a data security first, then cybersecurity?
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Mr. Harris. We'll now allow you to say your last word, and it's great having you on the show.
My last word is to the young. Last time I came from Liberia, I wrote a post on the Liberian corporate generation. I consider myself a U.S. corporate guy. We got Liberian corporate guys. I saw it. Young people, young engineers, young, smart, innovative thinkers. You guys don't give up. You guys have the opportunity that my generation didn't have. My generation didn't have peace. You guys have peace. At this point in my career, I am getting ready to retire. I will do something in Liberia, consulting firm, but I will do something. I will provide some mentorship in Liberia. But the thing is, with me and the engine detection in Liberia, don't push us away. Embrace us. Learn from us. Don't push us away. Embrace. We're not trying to take over. We're trying to enhance. What's there? We're trying to make it better. We got some people that went home, open firms, they're doing good. And keep learning. Keep learning. What I learned last week don't exist today. Believe me, it don't. It won't help me. All my books. Oh, one thing before I leave. My mentor wrote this book, Samuel R. Watkins, the late, the history of Liberia telecommunications.
Wow.
He turned me on to this part of my life.
Wow.
And he was one of the first trained Liberian telecommunications engineers.
Okay.
They switched Liberia from the telegram to telephone. So these are my mentors. These are people I follow. You never asked me my mentor, so I had this ready for you.
Yeah, but thank you for sharing that. Is that on Amazon for those who are interested in knowing the history
Well,
of
I bought this book when he was alive, and I played at a book signing. He signed it, but I don't know if it's available. But you look up Liberia communication, continent to continent, show to show, domestic services by Samuel R. Watkins.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see it how it looks, but this is the book.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
it's not
A
clear.
Liberia professional. Let me read the back. You want me to read this? You got time?
Yeah, go ahead.
The book, The Liberian Communication, brings a refreshing memories of the history. Many dedicated pioneers who sacrificed to make the history of communication possible are portrayed with dedication in this book as the pioneers without reward. These pioneers stood the test of time. They suffered, studied, worked hard, shared their knowledge, and freely gave wisdom in so many of their talents. They are simply thrust upon to the descendants of the most likely lost to history. This is the book. It gives me tear eye because I know the people that made they jump where we are now. So peace. Good night.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Harris. It was great having you on the show. One of my favorite writers, famous words, higher than the highest human thoughts can reach is God's ideal for his children. Those words which have been the source of my personal development could be yours tonight. I know we are all faced with challenges. We all may be surrounded by situations that are bleak or outright hopeless. But let us remember the famous words, where there is might, there is a way. The story of Mr. Toyua Harris could be yours as well. He saw an opportunity, came to the US, went into the field of computer engineering, and he has made his mark, leading a team of over 50 people in a company that of over 50,000 employees. So maybe he have thought that everything would have been great when he came here, but he had his own struggles and up and down, and he has been able to overcome this. The good news for you and I is that he did not allow the changes in technology or the challenges in moving from one technology field to another to stop him from doing what his future path was all about. He did press on and is still pressing on to his higher calling. So, brothers and sisters, I do not know what is stopping you from attaining your higher heights. Whether it's finance, lousy governance, emotional torture, or distress. We know that when each of us summon our inner strength, we will overcome. And when we have overcome, Liberia shall indeed rise again. Until we meet again for another edition of This Could Be You on Liberia Shall Rise, my name is Emmanuel George, and I'm glad that I've been part of your home this evening. Have a wonderful evening. Look forward to seeing you next week, Sunday. On this station, we'll also be running another edition of Table Talk with my friend and brother, Augustin Sheriff. Good night.